Meeting to order, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Agenda is approved. Review of the minutes. Is there a motion to approve the February 13th, 2023 meeting minutes?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
It's approved. Is there a motion to approve the February 21st, 2023 special meeting minutes?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Minutes are approved. Open public comment. Carrie?
I'll stand up here if I'm supposed to, because I feel really weird. So I'm Carrie Covey, and I am bringing before the board a petition to put the public nuisance ordinance back to its section 3, number 3 and 4, back to its original ordinance. There's a lot of reasons for this. One, it's in zoning and ordinance. I think that's kind of silly. We don't enforce the public ordinance as it is, the nuisance. So how are you gonna enforce this? And fencing chickens is ridiculous. There's zoning about fencing. It can't be more than 6 feet high. Chickens can fly, so 6 feet is not high enough for chickens. I don't know what kind of neighbor problem we have going on. I don't have any neighbor problems with my chickens. But I don't think you can fix a neighbor problem by applying a new ordinance or a new part of an ordinance. I think we have to decide, is it zoning or is it ordinance? It can't be both. And I just don't think that it's right to ask people to fence in their chickens and put down dirt. And I mean, you can ask most chicken owners, most of us are very, what's the word I want? We watch our chickens. We do, I mean, my neighbors have never ever complained about my chickens, ever. You know, and they get eggs from them. At the price of eggs right now, I think it's really important that we be allowed to have the chickens that we have. And it does take about 2 chickens for 1 person in your household. So, for those reasons and more, which I'm sure everybody on here will think, I needed 66 signatures, I have 76.
Thank you.
Just in case there's somebody not registered as a voter.
Carrie, just a question. You don't think it's unsanitary to have your chickens in the street and the neighbor's yard and everything with kids running around?
I
And
absolutely don't. It's more sanitary than you would
I
think.
don't believe that for a minute.
Well, I do not have a problem. That's the best fertilizer you can find. You can look in any kind of science book. That's the best fertilizer
I
you
don't
will
choose to have my neighbor come and fertilize my yard.
have. Then you can talk to your neighbor. My neighbors do not have a
They
problem.
still aren't fenced in. He fences his yard in, so the chickens can't get in for where his kids play, but yet they run the neighborhood.
Well, I'm sorry that your neighborhood is like that. Mine is not. And I think just because certain people have problems, doesn't mean everybody has a problem. And
we
how would you
can't-
enforce that? You can't even enforce picking up dog poop. There's dog poop everywhere. I find that more of a public nuisance. I listen to dogs bark all day. I'd rather listen to a chicken all day than a dog all day.
You know, the chickens, we have 3 on East Street, 3 chicken owners, and they're in the road in the summer.
So are dogs, so are kids. I mean, what's next? How many kids you can have because they're a nuisance to somebody? Your car's gotta be burgundy because it's town color? What's next?
Well, I think it's unsanitary. That's my opinion.
But guess what? You are elected to be the voice of the voter. So you can't just take this bit of voter and be the voice for that bit and not the whole. And that's my opinion. You are the voices of the voter.
Exactly.
So the voters are telling you right now that they want this brought to a special meeting and they want to vote.
That's fine with me.
Does anybody else have any questions, comments?
No, not really, but,
Okay.
and
No, nothing, Bruce? Oh, okay, all right. Okay, we will, schedule a special meeting based on the petition that's been handed to us, and, we'll schedule that and then have it noticed.
Awesome, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, good stuff.
Winter's back. I don't know if that's good stuff or not, but
No.
I went to Beaver Pond a couple weekends ago. I was home alone, didn't have anything to do, so, and it had tons of people out there fishing, taking advantage of the ice, so it was kind of neat to see that.
Yeah, there's quite a few people that fish up there.
I think because you can't go on the lakes, or, well, you probably could.
Some
but
are
they're
too
dangerous.
safe, yeah. Anybody else have anything? Not a lot going on, Lena. Kind of quiet. Okay. Is there a motion to go out of the select board meeting into the Board of Water Commissioners?
so moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. The well house monitoring.
So I don't have any other way to put this, except that the conclusion is, from the equipment experts and our engineers, is that everything is acting normally at the well house, other than the pump model discrepancy with the head discharge. But as far as the motor giving out, it appears that the repairs to the control box have made everything okay there.
That's great. That's a load off our mind.
I take it if there's something strange, one of these would spike or drop way down.
Oh, and that's correct. I've provided GMP's monitoring results.
Looked pretty good.
They
Yeah.
found everything normal.
They're pretty steady, same.
Everything was within range.
Right.
Anyway, yeah.
Okay.
Were they gonna check into some surge protection down there?
From everything I was told is that there is proper surge protection inside the
Great.
building.
Okay. The credit supervisor and delinquency report.
So you've also got an enclosure in your packets for this. I began putting a list together for delinquent accounts and disconnects. I'll need to verify this information with Celia and Kyle before we start acting on it. Where you see question marks on the list of accounts is just where I have to validate that the agreements are invalid, but I've got a great deal of confidence that those agreements haven't been met. So we do kind of have to watch the weather as well. I think we've got some snowstorms coming up next week. It may prevent Kyle from getting out there on the 1st, but.
Yeah, that's early, in my opinion, you know.
Yeah, well, we can start in March, but,
Hey, good.
and the idea of that is just to show, I think in the past, just because of resources, you don't just go out in one big foul swoop and try to knock out every single one. They're broken down into close to 10. And the first round there is for people that we know just have broken agreements, so we don't have to notify. And then the second are notices that we'll send out just to be safe. And then on the 14th we've got between the 14th and 20th to make shut-offs. So, or the first round.
I'm surprised how many people don't have agreements. You know?
Yeah.
But you think about it, this is only one page in the old one.
Yes, we had multiple.
Well, and as they come in, a lot of people don't have agreements. And then when we updated our agreement, we reached out to people to come and make new ones, and those just never did.
Right.
So, and then the idea now is, it's in our draft policy, which I've also included in your packets, and the collections policy committee is gonna meet and review that. I just kinda wanted to give the board an idea of where the committee was at on it. And the idea is if someone does break an agreement, that they'd be responsible of paying 50% of the arrearage to enter into a new agreement. And that'll be a good way to manage those bigger numbers.
Anybody have questions?
Just, I probably missed it, but in the collection delinquent taxes here policy, it didn't say we would place, I didn't find it, a lien on the property, but we will, correct?
Yes, so a lien's placed on the property as soon as they're notified of delinquency. I think that's pretty early on in the.
Under section 6, it mentions lien.
Section 6.
Yeah, tax sale,
Great.
Yeah, tax sale.
just above A.
Yeah, it's kind of a clever dance to make sure these ordinances aren't too long, because you could just add in, but then to actually have it meet your needs, so.
Thank you.
So by the end of March, I'm hoping the committee will have something for the board to review.
Okay.
So all of these people that don't have an agreement, when they receive the notice, they can come in and make a new agreement?
Yeah, if they don't have an agreement on file, they can come in and make an agreement.
Okay. The O&M manual review?
So the state's begun their review on the operations and maintenance manual for our water system. And these are the updates that were delivered by D&K last summer to them. After a short conversation with the state's community system operations specialist, comments on the draft are expected in the next couple of weeks. I have an update. I wrote this before today, and I got an update from the state representative. She's moving into a new position, so it's trying to expedite the process of making sure that the permit is issued. I'm thinking a permit may be drafted for the water system by the end of this week. So that's my O&M manual update.
Anybody have questions? Okay, is there a motion to go out of the Board of Water Commissioners and into the Board of Sewer Commissioners?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Wastewater treatment plant scoping study.
So the Phase 1 loan application that the board signed at the last meeting has been approved by the Vermont Bond Bank. A&E had a site visit last week with the operators to begin the study. Mr. Hogan, you asked about that pipe that transfers water from one lagoon to the other. The reason that pipe was downsized because it generates flow to keep the water moving so it doesn't become stagnant. And so A&E was suggesting we keep the pipe there, but we insert a pipe above it. So if the lagoon were to raise to that level, then it could transfer from one side to the next. So
That's not working?
the one doesn't exist now.
Oh.
Yeah. So they would just be installing like an overflow pipe. And that's what it
Okay.
would be called, I think. Right now, we have a transfer pipe, kind of in kind of normal operations. What would be added would be an overflow pipe if the levels were to get high.
Good, that should save us some money. Good.
All right, is there a motion to go out of the Board of Sewer Commissioners and back to the Select Board meeting?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Department reports, town manager.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The PDF hard copies were sent to me at around 5 p.m., so I'll upload them to the website tomorrow. We have a new printer downstairs, if anybody's seen it. It's wonderful. I can print from my office. I did packets with it. It separated them all, in different stacks. So we're really pleased with the purchase. Local emergency management plan update. Time has come again for the annual LEMP. I have a workshop in March to make sure we have all the necessary updates included. I reached out to the Proctor school staff a few weeks ago about a shelter training, but I know this came up around this time last year where the schools weren't quite involved in the local emergency management plan. And I'm going to reach out to them again just so that we have correct contacts and they feel comfortable with the information that's there. So I should start that process here soon. Class 2 highway grants pending the approval of the FY24 proposed budget at town meeting. The Class 2 highway grant will be ready to sign in March, and we plan to apply for West Street again. The lights on the bridge, LaFaso finished the work, and each LED bulb now uses 80% less energy than the ones that were there. Wow. So you've got 5 bulbs on each post, and you got 4 posts. So it should be quite a savings.
It's one of the few projects that will pay for itself. And they look nice. They're toned down just a little bit. And
He said you can adjust the brightness on them.
not as harsh, yeah.
And they're medium now. So, 61 Main Street, I'm in and this is the Marble office building here. I'm in constant contact with the listing agents, just so everyone knows. We text each other, actually. And on average, I meet with people interested in purchasing the building about once a week. Since I've heard that the owner may eventually turn it into housing, I worked with the lister to understand what was needed as far as permitting and forwarded all that information to him and copied Anthony on it, so everyone was on the same page. GMP versus Proctor, these are updates that aren't included in your report that I made just a little while ago. The mediation team has negotiated an agreement with GMP regarding the hydro facility, and at the discretion of the board, this agreement will be reviewed and decided upon during a duly warned meeting. Town meeting day, the sheriff's office spoke to me today about having an officer at the gym. They've done that in previous years, so I just wanted everybody to know that it was going to continue. And an engineering services agreement for the asset management plan, and this is for our water system. The engineer services agreement for the asset management plan has been approved by the state and is awaiting my approval. And then AOT grant monitoring, I've added to your packets an exit letter from the state saying that all of our grants for the last 5 years through VTrans met the grant agreement standards. And and lastly, this one's pretty important and is sensitive, but the Beaver Pond path, Bruce Butch Shaw's has worked with the state, and the state has gotten back to me on kind of what a letter should look like to them. I spent the last couple days drafting that letter. I'm 98% complete with it. I don't want to present it to the board until it's just right. So I'm thinking that at the next meeting, we'll review that letter, and then we can send it on their way with the board's approval. And that concludes my report.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, everybody saw the sheriff's report? Any questions on it? A lot of fines, I think, weren't there?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we saw they had a truck pulled over on Main Street the other day. We've
Oh,
never
really?
seen that. Yeah, I've never seen that before, so. I made a point to tell Lieutenant Bennett that was a good thing.
That is. DPW Foreman. Lots of notes.
Thorough as always.
Yeah.
No questions? Treasurer's reports, any questions?
It's getting to the point where it's getting tight. We knew it would be because of fuel costs. I'm closely monitoring it and may start giving the board a treasurer's report each meeting just so that we can keep an eye on costs near the end of the year. But if you look at the balance sheet, I did compare a balance sheet to last year's at this time, and we're about even. So if things stay normal, we should end the year in the black. But we'll watch it closely, and if it starts if the forecast shows it might get into the red, then I can pose some alternatives to the board as we get there. Alternatives to spending.
Questions, anybody? And everyone sign the bills?
Yes.
Okay, all right. And there's a resolution for the VCDP Grant Application Authority. Any questions on that? It's very simple.
Yeah.
Is there a motion to authorize the town manager to execute the grant agreement and such other documents as may be necessary for the Vermont Marble Company redevelopment project?
So moved.
Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries. All right.
In addition to that, Zion reached out to us, me, myself, and Lyle Jepson, and said that they got approved for a business loan. They do expect to have equipment in there running by April or May, and they've also acquired a deal for an extra 250 acres of hemp. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Where do they grow that?
I don't know. I hear it stinks though.
Yeah, I heard it smells,
I don't mind it.
but I don't know.
I don't mind it.
Okay, vast easement proposal for the Chittenden Watershed property. They've reached out to us to see if they can have an easement on that property. So we said we'd bring it before the board.
It might seem like deja vu, but this time they're proposing to pay for the easement. They just don't want to hire an assessor without guidance from the board.
Didn't I say we just wanted to leave it at the status quo, wasn't that?
Yeah, that's what, when we met last time, we said we didn't need an agreement. I don't know if they want more security or what. But,
They would like more security, but I personally think you should just keep it the way it is.
I agree.
Yeah. Yeah, it's worked in the past and we haven't had any problems and.
No, and the people voted, not to sell the property, so I
Yeah.
think they're good for quite a few years.
I don't think I need a motion.
No.
Consensus of the board.
you can just reassure them that our agreement from before still stands, so.
Sure.
All right. Any new business?
What's the time frame that you have to call a special meeting?
Well, this is going to be my first special meeting, so it's going to require a good bit of research. So I guess that's just a kind of long version of saying I'm not sure right now.
Is it a special meeting here, a special meeting
I think
if it's voting out of school?
I think from that, what she wanted is a special meeting from us to examine whether or not we want to change our ordinance back or to take it out of like zoning and put it in one or the other, but also to change it so it's not, fits their needs and not what we decided on.
I think once the petition is submitted,
Have to
it
vote.
has to be a special town meeting.
Yeah.
It's a vote.
She even said special town
What?
meeting.
When are we gonna do that?
Was that?
When are we gonna do that? We have a meeting
I'll get it
next week.
figured out. I'll get it all figured out. I just don't have it.
I think it's
all
30
that.
days.
Because
but I
next
don't know
week's-
for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's gotta be voted on.
Would you like me to read or you can read it, but she's got language on,
Is it
I
the
think
same on each one?
stating exactly
Statute.
stating exactly what the
Yeah.
request is.
And we'll have Celia check those signatures.
Yeah, just in case there's
Yeah.
So it says, "We, the undersigned legal voters of the town of Proctor, hereby request that the select board call a special meeting to have the voters reconsider changes to the public nuisance ordinance regarding chickens. Section 3, number 3, and 4:3. No fowls or chickens shall be kept in a property in such a manner as to cause public nuisance, and buildings and yards shall be kept deodorized by the application of dry earth or some other effective absorbent or disinfectant. All fowl and chickens kept within town limits shall be confined in an enclosure and shall not be permitted to run at large. No more than 12 chickens may be harbored on a single premise. 4, it is prohibited for any person to own, possess, or harbor a rooster within town limits." Article 1, shall the town of Proctor, Vermont then restate the article exactly as it was stated in the original warning?
That's a special town meeting.
Yeah, it's gonna take a little work.
All right. Any questions? All right. Nothing else to discuss? All right, is there a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned.